I've already lost legal custody, and it wasn't something I agreed to. So it started when I had my daughter. I had a pre-planned detox from my medical-assisted treatment program.
Another call.
Let's talk to Kimberly from Ohio. Kimberly, do you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Yeah.
Hi.
I've already lost legal custody, and it wasn't something I agreed to. So it started when I had my daughter. I had a pre-planned detox from my medical-assisted treatment program for an addiction problem, and there's a 5-day mandatory stay at the hospital for that, and she was at the minimum for their weight gain, what they accept there, and it was like 12th percentile was what she was in, and they called CPS saying that I was starving her, and they were afraid that if they sent her home with me that she would die, and I wasn't even in control of her formula. They wouldn't allow me to feed her when I wanted. I was only allowed to 15 minutes early or so, and so all that was false, and I told CPS that, and they put me in a safety plan, and after my daughter was born, I went and I did something stupid one time without her with me, of course, because I wouldn't do that with her with me. And she was still in the hospital because of the mandatory 5-day stay. And when CPS came, I told them that I wasn't going to pass their drug test, and that's why they entered me into the safety plan. 2 days later, they kicked me out when the test results came back and used it against me a second time. And then I find out they're saying I was addicted to what I failed for when I had her, and that I was using all through my pregnancy, despite my umbilical cord tests that say that I was clean. So that goes back at the 3rd trimester all the way. And they made me move out of my home when I failed the safety plan, according to them. And, by the way, it's 2 failed drug test is the only way they're supposed to be allowed to take your kid here in Ohio. And I only failed the 1. And I disclosed, and that's why they entered me into the safety plan. So I don't understand why they kicked me out of it. But anyways, I listened to them. I did as they said. My public defender told me to. And I did everything that they said per his request. He said my umbilical cord tests were irrelevant, and the judge didn't need to know about those. Any evidence that I had that what they were saying wasn't true, that he said wasn't relevant, and wouldn't let me enter in the case. So basically, the judge has none of the real story what happened. I can prove everything that they said is wrong. And the caseworker perjured herself just to get them to remove her from my custody. Said that I barely visit my daughter, that I don't have a bond with her, that the other woman has a bond with her, and who was supposed to be my best friend, kinship guardian, who kind of like manipulated me and to get her. And she even filed false police report against me, trying to get me in trouble, get me out of the way. And then but anyways, I screwed up for a little while after they kicked me out of the home, and I kind of dodged the social worker. And I know you're not supposed to dodge them, but I dodged her. And I finally straightened my act up. But I was depressed. I mean, what parent isn't? And got a hold of her, started doing my monthly visits like I'm supposed to. Drug tests were all clean and everything. And then when it comes time for court, which my attorney didn't even tell me about, I knew about it 2 days in advance because the caseworker told me. They told them that I had insufficient progress, and I find out at the court hearing for the very first time that I'm failing all these drug tests for my prescription medication that they knew about prior. And I had that on 4 different doctors' release forms for different doctors I see to continue this medication and that medication, those reports. And they're denying I gave them any releases of information. But in the beginning, they said on the record that I did. And now they're denying it. They closed my case 9 months in. They're trying to close my case. And this is during COVID also. You would think I would have got more time because of COVID, but they pushed me through. And I was doing everything they said. I did everything I could within.
What does she want from you, Vince?
For COVID, because a lot of places were shut down. So I couldn't do the rehab they wanted me to do. Oh, I tried to go to inpatient rehab with my daughter when she was 6 days old. And they said, absolutely not. You have to go alone. You can't go with her. And that's why I didn't go, which I didn't even need it. I only used one time. I was clean when they kicked me out of the safety plan. And I was clean when I had her prior to that.
Did you have a question for us this evening?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
How can I get her back when my case is closed and they gave legal custody to somebody else?
Was this somebody else, a foster parent or a relative?
It was a girl that I kept telling them I didn't want her with, kinship guardian.
So the person that has your child got a guardianship. They didn't adopt the child, right?
Right. And the case is closed per the legal custody getting transferred over. Because I only asked for a continuance at court. That's why I didn't get to enter my evidence. My attorney told me that it didn't matter and they weren't going to let me do it. So I just pleaded for a continuance with COVID as one of the reasons. Told him a lot of my side's not in there and all that. And he went with them, what Job and Family said, because they said that I hadn't been doing any of their services. They're saying I denied signing releases of information, which don't make sense because those last 12 months, and my daughter was only 10 months old at the time.
Well, Kimberly,
so
Kimberly, let me give you some insight. You know, the first thing you're going to have to do is hunt around in your area and find a licensed, qualified lawyer.
I already tried. They won't do anything. Nobody wants to go against them. They said I talked to one attorney. She said that if everything I'm saying is true, that there's so much of the conspiracy of my county trying to traffic children for financial gain that it would cost like $15,000 to even
2 minutes
to take my case or something, and basically a high number to make me leave her alone.
Right.
And
well, you need to talk to an attorney because, you know, if you were in California and a person had guardianship of your child, you can file a petition or a motion to try to terminate that guardianship, get the child back, or try to get, you know, more liberalized visitation. So that's what
well, I'm in appeal. I filed for an appeal.
Okay, but it doesn't matter, even with the appeal pending, because you may or may not.
The courts won't let me turn in any motions at all.
Well, that's why I said
they said I'm frozen.
That's why I said you need to talk to an attorney in your area or in your state. You know, I don't know if you listened to the show last week, but Cynthia said that she called over 50 attorneys before she could find someone that would help you. Have you reached that number?
Oh, I probably more. Yeah, I've called a lot. Most of them tell me that they won't even talk to me without paying like $2,000 up front before they'll even hear my story. And
right.
I called several. I probably called 25 or 30 as well, and got the same stories too.
They're
about not wanting to.
They don't want to go after CPS here, and they don't want to. And especially when there was the drug use that I used the one time, they want to shut me down right then, even though the law says I have to sell 2 to even be put into a safety plan. So they don't even want to hear that part.
Kimberly, also check out It's something that Cynthia and I just recently started. It's a website, it's a database where you can go find attorneys in your area. And it's called cpsattorneyrolodex.com. cpsattorneyrolodex.com. It started recently. We're trying to get lawyers from all over the country to go ahead and register, and so that you can connect with them in your area in Ohio. So try that. Try your local bar association. Most bar associations have a local lawyer referral service, and they're generally free or at a very nominal cost to get a consultation with an attorney about this type of thing. So give that a call. If that doesn't work, try a local bar association in a neighboring county or in a major county in Ohio. Hey, Kimberly, I want to thank you for calling and thank you for listening. Call us back, in about 3 or 4 weeks to give us an update. All right, Aaron, we've got to take another break right now. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. We'll be back after these messages with more calls, more questions, and more stories.